I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
From Hollywood Pictures, the farmer's daughter has just met the city slicker.
Nice piggy, nice piggy, nice piggy!
Now they're getting engaged, and her family's getting nervous.
He's weird.
They don't really understand him.
Steam, like a jacuzzi. Hop in. Ow!
But the more they get to know him,
Hey! I'm gonna hit him over the head with a shovel.
the closer they'll become. Son-in-law.
Dude, I was doing CPR. I know what I'm doing.
I'd rather die.
Rated PG-13.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review for Johnny, and it's for The Son-in-Law. Now, once again, thanks to everyone who has either sent me requests via PayPal. Again, it could be a movie review or review of it, pretty much anything else, or commentary or whatever. If you want to request it, feel free to do it via my PayPal, which the link is down below, or feel free to join my Patreon. Either way is fine, and thank you sincerely to everyone who has done that. I really do appreciate it. But the review for today is The Son-in-Law, and if you follow my channel, I just got done talking about Biodome, which I'm not a big fan of. Again, mild rant, however I'm going to title it. But I did mention that video, I don't hate Pauly Shore. I did grow up with Pauly Shore movies. I like Encino Man, I enjoy Son-in-Law. In the Army Now, I would say is my favorite. And the Weasel shtick, I think, for those who didn't see that review or don't know who Pauly Shore is, he was a guy that was the son of a lady who ran the Comedy Store. Very successful store that everybody went through. And Pauly Shore, being the son of the owner, met everyone from Sam Kinison to Richard Pryor to all of these people. He got into stand-up himself. One thing led to another, he got a job on MTV, doing the character, The Weasel, how's it going, buddy? To the point of, he was successful in that avenue to get a supporting role in Encino Man. And Encino Man, which I do enjoy, with Brendan Fraser, Sean Astin, that was successful enough that he got a multiple picture deal starting with Son-in-Law. I think it was Son-in-Law. I believe the next one was In the Army Now. But In the Army Now didn't do well, although I guess my favorite of his. Biodome definitely didn't help matters, and in Jury Duty, which I haven't seen in forever, but I remember that being the worst one. But then he didn't work for a while. I know he did a couple things like Pauly Shore's did. I think he did some films after that, but people got tired of the Weasel shit. They got tired of Pauly Shore very quickly, and his career kind of went. But I've never hated Pauly Shore. I don't know how he is as a person, but I did like quite a few of his films, and this is one of the flicks I grew up watching a lot when I was a kid. And I don't just enjoy it for nostalgia reasons. I sincerely enjoy it because I think Pauly Shore, I've mentioned this before, he's like a radio. You need to dial it to the right frequency. I think in the Army Now, in this movie, he's dialed to the right frequency. And so his personality, his demeanor, I'm not annoyed by. It annoyed other people, but I'm not annoyed by it. I thought he was pretty funny. the story is simple enough. You have this girl who is Miss American Pie. She goes to college. And so what happens after going to college is she is doing fine. One thing leads to another. And she meets up with, get the character's name, Crawl. It says Fred, but I don't remember them saying his name was Fred, but everyone calls him Crawl. And before I did that, I want to give credit to the director, Steve Rash. Now, he did the Buddy Holly story, which I did not know. I've heard of that film with Gary Busey. I think Gary Busey either was nominated or won the Oscar for that. Under the Rainbow, that's a notorious one I've heard of. He went on to do Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg, the basketball movie. Held Up, which I remember now minding with Jamie Foxx. And then pretty much did sequels like American Pie, Bandcamp, Bring It On All or Nothing, Bring It On In It to Win It, Road Trip Beer Pong. Wow, he got saddled with like all these fucking sequels that no one gave a shit about. But yeah, like I said, this girl from, was it from South Dakota? Character's name is Rebecca. She's prim, she's proper, she's nice. It's a co-ed dormitory. She doesn't really fit in. And Pauly Shore's character, who's the resident advisor, brings her out of her shell. Says, hey, why did you come here? For a new experience, right? To have fun, right? And again, brings her out of her shell so she's having more fun, being more outgoing, changes her hair color, even gets a tattoo. A very different girl. Thanksgiving comes around. She's afraid that her boyfriend from back home is going to engage. Have an engagement to her. She doesn't want that. So he's like, let me bring you along. A, because I think you're lonely around Thanksgiving. But also B, the kind of like, if he throws that in my face, I just say, you're my boyfriend. Or we've been doing something together. And of course, that's where the title son-in-law comes in. And of course, the family at first don't like him. He changes their minds by the end of the film. You see the plot coming, but I thought it worked well because of the cast, because it had a brisk direction, had a fun energy to it. And I do think Pauly Shore did a solid job in this movie. I just say that with a straight face. I don't think Pauly Shore is that bad at all in this film. And moments that made me chuckle, like when he first meets the dad, and the dad I recognized, he was on the TV show Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. He's been on quite a bit of stuff. Lane Smith plays the father. I thought he did a really solid job. I think he was Perry White in Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. And he was in a lot of stuff. He was in The Mighty Ducks. He was the mayor in Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn. He was in The Distinguished Gentleman he was the main bad guy in that with Eddie Murphy, which I reviewed when I did the Eddie Murphy marathon. He was in Prison, which is an underrated horror film directed by Renny Harlan. He's done a lot of good stuff. Sadly passed away in 2005. May he rest in peace. But you had the mom, played by Cindy Pickett, which I know I recognize her. You had the grandfather, played by Mason Adams. You have the brother, the little brother of the girl, Patrick Renna, which I just reviewed a film he was in called The Sandlot. He was the bigger kid named Ham. He was also, I think, in The Big Green, the soccer movie. I think, could be wrong on that. But yeah, the kid from The Sandlot is in this. Tiffani Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell, she's in this as well. Yeah, Cindy Pickett, she was the mom in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah, that's where I remember him from. See, what else was she in? I swear there was... she was in Deep Star 6. That was the other thing I recognized. She was actually good in Deep Star 6. So, Cindy Pickett as the mom. Mason Adams as the grandfather. He was an established actor. He was in FX. That's right. The grandfather was in the underrated film called FX from the 80s. He was in that. That's right. I like FX. He was the colonel. I think he was also in the 1991 film Toy Soldiers, which I remember liking that film. Anyway, I'm harping on that because I do think the cast work well together. And Carla Gugino is the girl Rebecca. And Carla Gugino, this is the lady that would... She's now found success. She was on the show The Haunting of Hill House. But she was also in... Oh, what was that movie? Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. The Spy Kids movies. The One. That's right, she was in The One with Jet Li, which that review is up on the channel for those interested. That's right, she was in Sin City. Whoa, there was another movie I was thinking of. Oh, that's right, she was in Faster. And she was in Watchmen. That's right, she was in Watchmen. That's the movie I was thinking of. In Watchmen, she played the Sally Jupiter / Silk Spectre. Silk Spectre in Watchmen. That's where I recognize her from. And before all that, she was the lady for Pauly Shore, the son-in-law. So, but yeah, all the cast work well. I was mentioning the comedy of the film. When he first meets Lane Smith, and Lane Smith leaves, and Pauly Shore's hanging upside down. He's like, "Don't leave me hanging." Oh, you're fresh out of the farm. You're inbred. What? So, you know, your mom's your dad, and your dad's your brother. I thought, again, the frequency of Pauly Shore, his demeanor, the way he delivers the lines, his energy, was in the right frequency that I didn't find him annoying or irritating. I thought he was he was funny, he was likable, and, you know, felt for him. It was also cool around this time, Brendan Fraser... I guess him and Pauly Shore were really close back then. Brendan Fraser would make cameos in Pauly Shore movies because he makes a cameo in this movie and he makes a cameo in The Army now. And they both reference Encino Man, so I thought that was kind of a fun little thing they put in there. And this, it's pretty much his character from Encino Man, like lighting a lighter and taking like a frog and eating it, kind of like what he did in Encino Man. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I'm sure nowadays, if you've never seen these movies, you'd be like, what the fuck? Why is Brendan Fraser there? And why is he biting a frog or whatever? Well, there's a reason for that. Encino Man. Some people get annoyed by the way he talks. I'm fine with it here. I grew the dew, I guzzle some brew. I'm mingling, okay? You got to mingle. Hey, look, I got Steven Tyler PJs. Steven Tyler PJs. Other moments that made me laugh. Oh, you got Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers makes an appearance as a tattoo guy. And Pauly Shore's making fun of, look at him. The ink soaks in the system and he's freaked out. Look at him. Where are you, you freak? And then Flea's like, he's got a point. And then she's picking out a tattoo and Flea goes, you pick it, I stick it. Granted, not a funny line, but for some reason lines like this is what sticks out in my head ever since I saw this when I was a kid, and I've seen it multiple times throughout my life. I don't know why. Sometimes those way it's delivered, the line itself, sometimes they just stick with you. I can't really pinpoint as to why. And I thought the whole family worked well together. Like when Pauly Shore meets Lane Smith when are meeting for Thanksgiving. hey, when you left, I popped your daughter's trunk. And Lane Smith's like, oh shit. And then, of course, as they're driving back to the house, Green Acres is playing. And Pauly Shore is trying to sing, Green Acres is the place to be. And there are moments that like just did make me laugh, like the stuff I've said, or when he meets the grandfather, he's like, oh my god, it's Bartles or James. Hey man, we love your wine coolers. And for those of, I don't know if that's a reference people would even understand. Bartles and James was a commercials of these old guys, two old guys, and it's an alcohol beverage. People today might not even know what the hell that is, so it shows my age. It shows how old I am. Someone who sees this nowadays, they'd be like, who the fuck are Bartle and James? But for someone like me who knows, it does make it funnier. I mean, the plot is the plot. It's pretty much there just to have Pauly Shore get into hijinks. You know, the humor, there's double entendres. I thought they worked fine. It wasn't a lot of fucking piss or fart jokes or any of that stuff. That, again, just preference-wise, I'm not a big fan of those type of jokes. I'm just not. It's more either double entendres, the weasel personality, or some physical humor. Like the montage of him trying to get used to work on the farm. He takes the tractor out. He plays a song. You know, thank God I'm a country boy. Getting some corn. Getting some corn. He's going through the fucking field. And the finale, I mean, when the boyfriend of the Carla Gugino wants to give her an engagement ring, and then the ruse never really gets up. No one ever finds out it's a ruse. It's just the boyfriend was, oh, son-in-law, I'll fix him. I don't make it seem like he fucked Timothy Amber Thiessen, and no one, you know, they're done and over. Then they find out, no, something else is going on, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's like the one part of the film that I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But, you know, it has to be done, and it goes by quickly enough. It's like the movie itself knows no one gives a shit about this. So just, that goes by pretty quickly, ba 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 ba, and then get to the end of the movie. So, yeah, I appreciate that even the movie itself went, who gives a shit about this? Let's just, boop, 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 go quick. Now we're at the end. Interesting enough, they never tell that it was a lie, that the two of them were never really going to get married. They just go, oh, we'll postpone it. So, I don't know, I just find it interesting that by the end of the film, the family still doesn't know that it was a ruse. I don't know, just interesting. And, you know, the family liked each other. Nice little shot at the end was a freeze frame. Nice song they use. The crazy little thing called love. Don't think they have the soundtrack listed here. No. I was trying to find out like who sang that song. But yeah, I mean the movie itself, it goes by a quick pace. It's not a long movie at all. I don't think, well, it's Pauly Shore. I don't think any Pauly Shore film has Blu-rays. I doubt they ever will, because people like, who gives a shit about Pauly Shore? Pauly Shore is the guy to make fun of. Why we don't waste our time making Blu-rays of this? I mean, you know what? There are crazy, stupid individuals like me who actually like the film sincerely and think it's funny. Same with In the Army Now. I think both those films are sincerely funny, and Encino Man. And if they do have Blu-rays, I don't know anything about it. If they don't, just put the fucking movies out on Blu-ray. At least those 3 movies. Which I think the same company released those 3. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't the same company. I assumed it because Brendan Fraser plays Encino Man pretty much in all 3. Technically not In the Army Now, but there's a reference to it, so. But just put the fucking films on Blu-ray. Yeah, I was looking through the trivia. There's really nothing to the trivia. Ashley Judd auditioned for the role of Rebecca that Carla Gugino got. Okay. Yeah, nothing else. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see a Blu-ray making of interviews with Pauly Shore or anybody else who's willing to do it. It'll never happen. But I would like to see that, but maybe I'm alone. I don't know. I might be the only fucking person who likes Son-in-Law and in the Army Now. If you do, let me know in the comments section. If I'm alone, oh well. I still think it's a harmless movie. I think it's a little bit of endearing, funny film. Pauly Shore, I don't think it's that annoying in it. I thought the family unit worked well. The actors, Lane Smith, Cindy Pickett, the kid from The Sandlot, they did their jobs that they were supposed to do. It went at a brisk pace. I didn't think the little bit at the finale, but again, even the movie news, like, who gives a shit? Just move it along. And there's still moments of dialogue that I remember to this day, ever since I first saw it when I was a kid. I didn't, probably because I did see this film multiple times. I keep using the word fun because it's a fun comedy. I do think it's funny, and Pauly Shore, I thought, worked well in this flick. Like this in the Army Now, even Encino Man, those three films, he was dialed the right way. Then why did In the Army Now flop? I don't know. Maybe just it's one of those things that people just see a shtick and they get tired of it. Like there are Adam Sandler films I like. Not fucking films like Jackie Jill or some of the films I reviewed, but there were films that I did like. Well, most of those films were hits. Even Jackie Jill might have been a hit, and that's like one of his worst ones. I don't know. I'm going off tangent. Yeah, that's my thoughts, rambling thoughts on The Son-in-Law. I still think it's a fun film. Wasn't a blockbuster. Says here it cost $20 million, which I don't know why it would cost that much. Made $36 million. So it's not like a game buster, blockbuster film. But I think with certain things, they made at least a bit of a profit. Also, you gotta think of VHS sales at the time. But yeah. Pauly Shore's career went pretty quick, and yeah, and then never thought he was that bad of a personality. Again, maybe that's just me. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.